Before applying for permanent residence in Canada through express entry, you must first receive an invitation to apply. Once you have received an invitation, you have 60 days to submit your application. Here are the steps to follow. 1. Sign into your express entry account. 2. Click the link below to apply for permanent residence. 3. Fill out the online form, ensuring that you provide all required documents and that all answers are complete and accurate. 4. Ensure all mandatory fields are completed before submitting your application. 5. You can save your information on the form and return to it as needed. Fees for the application vary depending on your situation. For the primary applicant, $1,525 if including your spouse, $1,525 if including a dependent child, $260. Processing times vary by program. You may also need to provide biometrics as part of your application, which will add to the processing time. To successfully submit your application for permanent residence through express entry, it's crucial to provide all required documents. Here's what you need to know about document submission. 1. Personalized document checklist. After completing all fields in the online form, the system will generate a personalized document checklist. Gather all the documents listed on this checklist. 2. Translation of documents. If any of your documents are in a language other than English or French, you must provide an English or French translation. The translation must be stamped by a certified translator. Alternatively, it can be accompanied by an affidavit from the person who completed the translation. Ensure that all stamps and seals not in English or French are also translated. 3. Certified translators. Certified translators are members in good standing of a professional translation association in Canada or abroad. Their certification must be confirmed by a seal or stamp showing the translator's membership number. Note that a translator in the process of receiving certification is not considered certified for IRCC's purposes. Below is the link to find certified translator. 4. Affidavit for translation is a document stating that the translation is an accurate version of the original text. The translator swears in front of a commissioner that the translation is accurate. The commissioner or notary public must be proficient in English or French. 5. Taking an affidavit in Canada. Affidavits can be taken by a notary public, commissioner of oaths, or commissioner of taking a notary public, commissioner of oaths, or commissioner of taking affidavits. Outside Canada, a notary public or equivalent can take an affidavit. 6. To clarify the document submission process for translations. 1. Scan of original document. Provide a scan of the original document if the translation is based on the original. 2. Scan of certified photocopy. If the translation is based on a certified photocopy of the original document, provide a scan of that certified photocopy. 7. Expiring passports. Ensure that your passport is valid for at least 6 months from the day you apply. Renew your passport if necessary and update your passport information in your application. 8. Venezuelan passport holders. Venezuelan passport holders may need to complete extra steps during the application process. 9. Document preparation. Make electronic copies of your documents using a scanner or camera in one of the accepted formats. Once ready, upload them to your document checklist. Biometrics fees for express entry applicants. As of June 14, 2023, the temporary exemption from biometric requirements for certain foreign nationals has been lifted. Here are the key points regarding biometric fees for express entry applicants. 1. Who needs to pay biometric fees? If you or any accompanying dependents in your application are aged between 14 and 79, applied for permanent residence on or after June 14, 2023, were not prompted to pay biometrics fees during the application submission, and are not exempted from paying biometric fees, you must pay biometric fees for every permanent residence application submitted. 2. Payment process. After filling out all sections of the online form and uploading your documents, the system will display a list of fees to be paid, including processing fees for you and your family members, the right of permanent residence fee, and biometric fees. Payment can be made through your online account using a debit or credit card. 3. Increased fees. Permanent residence fees increased on April 30, 2024. If you paid fees before this date but have not yet submitted your complete application, you will need to pay the difference. 4. Refunds. If your application is incomplete, processing fees and the right of permanent residence fee, if paid, will be refunded. However, processing fees will not be refunded once the application processing begins. 5. Purpose of biometrics fee. The biometrics fee covers the cost of collecting fingerprints and a digital photo. Payment of the biometrics fee is essential to avoid delays in processing your application. Find the biometric collection centers here. 6. Confirmation letter and appointment. After paying the biometrics fee, you will receive a letter confirming the requirement to provide biometrics and indicating where to go for the procedure. Biometrics must be given in person, and appointments should be booked if offered. Find a collection point nearby. 7. Paying fees after application. If you decide to pay the right of permanent residence fee after applying or need to add a spouse or dependent child to your application, alternative payment methods must be used. Ensure timely payment of all required fees to prevent delays in processing your permanent residence application through Express Entry. Before submitting your application for permanent residence through Express Entry, it's important to ensure that you've completed the following steps. 1. Fill out all mandatory fields. Make sure you have filled out all mandatory fields on the application form. The system will require you to provide information in these fields before allowing you to proceed with the submission. 2. Pay processing and biometrics fees. Ensure that you have paid both the processing fee and the biometrics fee associated with your application. Payment of these fees is essential for the processing of your application. 3. Include clear scans of required documents. Upload clear scans of all documents listed in your personalized document checklist. These documents are necessary for verifying your eligibility for permanent residence, so ensure they are legible and complete. It's important to note that the system will not allow you to submit your application unless you have fulfilled all of these requirements. Therefore, double-check to ensure that all mandatory fields are filled, fees are paid, and required documents are uploaded before proceeding with the submission. This will help avoid any delays or issues with your application. After submitting your application for permanent residence, you may need to report any significant changes using a web form provided by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. Here's how to update your information. 1. Access the web form. Visit the IRCC website and locate the web form designated for reporting changes to your application. 2. Enter required information. Fill out the web form with the necessary details regarding the changes you need to report. This may include changes in address, telephone number, email, or other contact information. Additionally, you should report events such as births or deaths in your family, marriages or divorces, adoptions, changes to your job or job offer, new educational credentials, or updated language test results. 3. Provide supporting documentation. If applicable, provide any supporting documentation related to the changes you are reporting. For example, if you are reporting a change in address, provide proof of your new address. 4. Submit the form. Once you have filled out the web form and attached any necessary documentation, submit it electronically. 5. Follow up. After submitting the web form, you may receive confirmation of receipt from IRCC. Keep track of any communication regarding the changes you reported. 6. Create or log into the correct account. Based on the application you are using, ensure that you either create a new account or log into an existing one that is appropriate for that specific application. If you already have an account for a particular application, use those credentials to sign in. This document outlines the process and guidelines for the invitation to apply IDA in Canada's Express Entry system. Here's a breakdown of the key points covered. 1. Automatic entry into pool. Candidates who meet the minimum entry criteria, MEC, and are registered with Job Bank, if applicable, are automatically entered into the Express Entry pool. They may receive an ITA based on their self-declared information in the profile. 2. Criteria for IDA issuance. IDAs are issued to candidates with the highest scores in the Comprehensive Ranking System, CRS, during a round of invitations. Candidates with a provincial or territorial nomination certificate receive additional CRS points. 3. Class-specific IDA. The IDA specifies the class under which the candidate can apply, e.g., Federal Skilled Worker Class, Canadian Experience Class, and candidates cannot apply under a different class than specified. Deadline for responding. Candidates have 60 calendar days to either submit a complete application for permanent residence or decline the IDA. Failure to respond within this period results in the IDA expiring. 5. Responsibility for profile accuracy. Candidates are responsible for ensuring the accuracy of their express entry profile information. Profiles are automatically locked upon receiving an ITA, but candidates can revise their information if they decline the IDA. 6. Changes in circumstances. If a candidate's circumstances change after receiving an ITA, they are advised to recalculate their CRS score. Examples of changes impacting CRS score are provided. 7. Encourage decline of IDA. Candidates are encouraged to decline an ITA if their change in circumstances negatively impacts their eligibility or CRS score. Failure to provide proof of information may result in refusal and assessment for misrepresentation. Express entry. Invitation to apply. Express entry candidates who appear to meet the minimum entry criteria, MEC, and have registered with Job Bank, if applicable, are automatically entered into the express entry pool. The IDA is an auto-generated correspondence issued to express entry candidates through their online account. The IDA is issued to candidates who rank the highest in a round of invitations, based on their score in the Comprehensive Ranking System, CRS. Candidates with a provincial or territorial nomination certificate are awarded an additional 600 points in the CRS and are normally invited to apply at the next round of invitations to which they are eligible. When there is a general round of invitations, and a candidate appears eligible for multiple classes, e.g., the Federal Skilled Worker class and the Canadian Experience class, the system automatically invites the candidate to apply under one of the classes in the following order: Provincial Nominee Class, PNC, Canadian Experience Class, CEC, Federal Skilled Worker Class, FSWC, Federal Skilled Trades Class, FSTC. What is included in the IDA? The IDA invites the candidate to apply under a specific class, i.e., FSWC, FSTC, CEC, or PNC. A candidate cannot apply under a class other than the one specified in their IDA, even when the candidate appears to be eligible for multiple classes. The IDA includes the following chart, which outlines how the candidate's points were calculated in the CRS at the time of the round of invitations. Express entry criteria, your score. CRS. Human capital includes age. Human capital, level of education, first official language proficiency, second official language proficiency, Canadian work experience. CRS. Spouse includes spouse level of education, spouse first official language proficiency, spouse Canadian work experience. CRS. Skill transferability includes education, foreign work experience. CRS. Skill transferability, certificate of qualification. CRS. Arranged employment. CRS. Provincial or territorial nomination. Deadline for responding to an ITA. Upon receipt of an ITA, a candidate has 60 calendar days to do one of the following: submit a complete application for permanent residence, APR, in their online account. This includes providing all supporting documentation up front. Decline the ITA in their online account if the candidate is not ready to apply within 60 calendar days of receiving the ITA, or if they believe that a change in their circumstance has made them ineligible to be invited. In this case, the candidate's profile will become active in the pool for the remaining days of the profile's validity, and the candidate will be considered for future rounds of invitations, as long as they continue to meet the MEC. If the candidate does not respond to the ITA, i.e., the candidate does not submit a complete APR within 60 calendar days of receiving the ITA, and does not formally decline the ITA within this delay, the ITA will expire, and the candidate will no longer be in the express entry pool. To re-enter the pool, the candidate must submit a new profile in their online account and be assessed for the MEC at that time. Note, it is the candidate's responsibility to check their online account frequently. IRCC does not grant extensions to the 60 calendar day deadline for submitting a complete APR. Where candidates claim they did not check their online account or read their ITA letter, this is not a valid reason for an extension. When a candidate's situation changes after the ITA is issued, candidates are responsible for ensuring that the information in their express entry profile is up to date and accurate at all times. Candidates' express entry profile is automatically locked when they are issued an ITA. Candidates can only revise their profile information if they formally decline the ITA through their online account. However, their information may be updated in their APR. When a candidate declines an ITA, they are automatically returned to the pool and will be able to update their profile information as they wait for a new ITA. If a candidate realizes after having been issued an ITA that their circumstance has changed or that the information in their profile, on the basis of which they were issued an ITA, is no longer accurate, the candidate is instructed to recalculate their CRS score using the Express Entry Calculator on the IRCC website. Examples of changes in circumstance that can impact a CRS score are listed below. Where there is a change in circumstance and the candidate goes forward with submitting an APR, the candidate must ensure that the change in circumstance is properly reflected in their APR, i.e., the candidate must amend the information that was automatically transferred from their profile to their APR before submitting their application. As per the Express Entry Ministerial Instructions, candidates are encouraged to decline an ITA if their change in circumstance negatively impacts their eligibility such that they no longer meet the MEC of the federal immigration program to which they were invited to apply, or if their recalculated CRS score falls below the lowest ranked candidate in their round of invitations. Applicants who cannot provide proof of the information provided in their profile, on the basis of which they were invited to apply, will be refused on Section A11.2 and assessed for misrepresentation. Cost recovery fees will not be refunded. Examples of change in circumstance that would impact a candidate's CRS score. Changes that could increase a candidate's CRS score: graduation from a higher level of schooling, reaching an additional year of Canadian work experience, obtaining a certificate of qualification, improved language test scores. Changes that could decrease a candidate's CRS score: new language test scores at a lower level, e.g., original scores expire and candidate retakes the test with lower results. Loss of a qualifying offer of arranged employment. Change that could either increase or decrease a candidate's CRS score. Addition of a spouse or common law partner, since an applicant's CRS score may increase or decrease depending on the spouse or partner's own human capital. Change for which candidates are not penalized for losing points. Candidate's birthday occurs after an ITA was issued. See the exemption to Section A11.2. Candidates whose birthday occurs after they receive an ITA section.